Welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2026, and this is the Cluster API office hours. Cluster API is a sub-project of Kubernetes SIGs, and as such, we follow their meeting guidelines, which can be summarized as please treat each other as you would expect to be treated, or in other words, be excellent to each other. And if you'd like to talk, please raise your hand and I will call on you. All right, so at the beginning of our meetings, we like to take a little time to welcome new attendees. So I will be quiet for 10 seconds. And if you are new to these meetings or new to this community and you'd like to introduce yourself, please feel free to unmute and say hello to everybody.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you guys. I'm very first time attending this meeting and I'm working in Stack HPC now and also providing a real production layer to customers with Cluster API now. So I really wanted to attend here. So nice to meet you.
Awesome. Welcome to the meeting. And hopefully I won't mispronounce your name. Is it Ji Hyun?
Yes, correct.
All right, great. Welcome to the
Thank
community.
you. Thank you so much.
I'm not seeing anyone else unmuting, so we will move on. All right, I think we only have one open proposal at the moment. Does anyone want to talk about the independent worker topology versions?
Review and comments are keep flowing in, and new comments keep flowing in. So we're making progress. I think that is nearing. We can get this probably merged before the beginning of the next cycle.
Awesome, great to hear.
Uh, I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, what is the doc? Because there is a PR now. That is a trimmed down version of this long document and very focused on the next iteration. So I will link the PR so people can focus on this one. I will do it, Mike. Don't worry.
Cool. Thanks, Fabrizio. All right, cool. Yeah, awesome to see that coming along. And I still owe a read on that PR too. Where does the time go, right? Okay, so that's our open proposal. We'll get right into discussion topics, and I've got the first one, so that's convenient. Um, so I brought this up a while ago, probably more than 6 months ago. Uh, I'm pushing into some work around the autoscalers, cluster autoscaler and Carpenter, that's getting into like pricing comparisons. And it appears that uh, both Cluster Autoscaler and Carpenter, their notions of how to evaluate price data actually comes down to like a single float value that's surfaced from the underlying infrastructure. And so based on some experimentation that myself and a colleague at Red Hat have been doing, I would like to propose another opt-in style enhancement to Cluster API. And for those who aren't familiar, several years ago, we created an enhancement to allow scale from zero information to be added to Cluster API resources so that the cluster autoscaler could know how to create nodes or what the nodes would look like that it was creating in a scale from zero situation. This would be very similar. What I would like to propose is an optional annotation that users could apply to the scalable resource, meaning like the machine deployment or the machine pool or the machine set. And then that annotation would be used by the cluster autoscaler if it's seen and Carpenter. Um, and then alternatively, the providers could also supplement the status block of their infrastructure machine templates with a field that would have information for pricing data. And I'll structure this in the KEP and everything so that it would be non-detrimental if it's not there, and if it is there, then the autoscalers could use that information. And then the ultimate result of that is that what we've demonstrated in our proof of concept internally is that we can get both cluster autoscaler and Carpenter to make pricing decisions and therefore choose the cheapest instances when it does expansions. Now this won't apply to every provider, which is why I think it's important to make it opt-in and optional. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd like to go with this. Yeah, Stefan, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just a bit curious how it basically sort of prioritizes price versus, I don't know, other stuff to decide which kind of nodes to create. Is it basically just trying to like serve everything that is needed with the cheapest price? I mean, I guess that's the headline, right?
Right, yeah. Like what ends up happening is the autoscaler identifies all the potential node groups that would fit the workload that is trying to be landed. And then if you tell it to use price as the highest weighting option, once it's got all those options, once it's got all the possible resources, then it looks at the node groups and says, which one would be the cheapest node? And I'll choose that one to make. I guess does that answer your question?
What are like the other things that you can choose beyond price?
So for cluster autoscaler, you have several options. You can choose what's called least waste mode, which means it tries to find the most efficient size instance to satisfy the workload coming in. There's least cost. There is also, I think, there's a random expander. There is a priority expander, which means the user can set priorities based on the node groups to say, like, if this node group is available, take this one first, then take the next one, then take the next one. And I think there's also a gRPC expander as well that allows a user to write a custom expander that could plug in through a gRPC connection. I think there might be like a least nodes option as well that tries to make the least number of nodes possible. But yeah, I think those are the main options you can have.
Yeah. And I think you're saying like with one data point or something. What is that expressing? It's like, I don't know, relative pricing to other things with an abstract number, or is it like dollar per hour?
Right, like
something very concrete.
Yeah, when I dug through all the implementations, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, in both cases, this comes down to a single float value that has no reference to the currency type. It's just completely, it's assumed by the autoscaler that whatever numbers you're giving it are denominated in the same currency or something. They're just used as a scalar for comparison. It doesn't seem to really care what the currency is.
So it's like relative comparison between whatever that number is, but it doesn't really know what that
Right.
number expresses.
Right, exactly. And I followed that trail all the way down to like the cloud provider layer. And different cloud providers will surface different information about the pricing, but it seems like both Carpenter and Cluster Autoscaler, all they do is grab the number. They don't care about like what the actual unit is.
Okay. But I guess that also means that if let's say you have some sort of internal cloud on whatever copy provider supports that, where maybe you don't even have a price. I mean, probably a lot of people are still billing internally, but maybe some don't have it.
Right.
Then you can also come up with some abstract numbers that, I don't know, express in some other way how expensive it is.
Right. Yeah.
to run certain VMs, even if it's not like actual like money changing hands, right?
Right. Yeah. Even if you were running your own data center, right? Like let's say you had an on-premises data center. Yeah, you might still have the notion of creating some, like you said, price option to go with these things. Like, hey, maybe it's more expensive, to run certain parts of your data center or whatever. So you're absolutely right. That value could be used as like a qualitative analysis by a user who didn't necessarily care about the actual pricing data.
Sounds good.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the questions. Really appreciate it. So I guess if there's no objections or anything, I'll probably start working on a cap and maybe propose that in like a month or two or something.
I have a question, not an objection, but a question. So, if I look at the trend here, basically, what we are doing is that we are defining how provider should support this and providing a transition mechanism, which is the annotation.
Right.
Transition/override mechanism, which is the annotation.
Right.
I'm wondering if we should do a push, maybe just open an issue on all the provider, so we can figure it out where we are in the state of the provider implementing so we sort of push A. The end state is that you surface this information because we don't want user to apply a notation. We want the easy way for the user.
Right.
I think that it is fair to keep adding option, but at the same time we also to bring the community to leverage the right way to provide this information.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And like the annotations are provided, yeah, merely as like an escape hatch or a way for the user to modify the behavior. But you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, it would be awesome for the actual providers to contain this, if if it's something that the platform exposes. And we've seen with the scale from zero information. That has started to make it into the providers, and it makes a big difference. The cluster autoscaler makes it, like you said, just kind of works. Then
Yeah.
the user doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't have any idea what is the state across the board of
Yeah,
adoption of all the proposal. But I think this is a good moment to say where you are. There is also this step. Please keep up.
yeah. So I guess, would you like to see like issues open on the individual providers, or should we open like a central issue on the cluster API repo that could talk about this?
I think that it is better if you open an issue in the backlog of the specific provider. And
Just one hint. We have a tool in Core Copy that is used to generate issues in certain providers when we're getting close to code freeze. So there's literally like a hard-coded list of providers in there. I don't know if this would make sense as like the same set of providers where you open the issues there or something. Just if you're
Yeah.
looking for like a list of like which providers to target or something.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea.
Somewhere under hack, I don't remember the exact path, but it shouldn't be too hard to find. Or you can ping me in Slack and I can point you to that tool if that's useful.
Okay. Yeah, what I'll do is before the next meeting, I'll do a little bit of research to kind of bring together the status of this stuff. And then, yeah, like, we can talk about it again next time. And I'll just, I could open issues or put it wherever we need to. Because, yeah, I would love to help. I would love to help broadcast what's going on here, because I know some Red Hat engineers have been working to do some of this work. And, I know like Stefan, you and Fabrizio have done some of the scale from zero work as well. So, yeah, sounds great to me. Like, I'm happy for the suggestions here. Thanks, Fabrizio. Okay. I guess, does anybody else have questions or comments about this topic? Okay. I'm not seeing any hands going up. Thanks for the discussion. I'll probably have more to talk about in weeks to come. All right. Next topic. Fabrizio, you would like to highlight some interesting features that emerged recently.
yes, exactly. Because I think that we should celebrate the work that we do. You know me. So, okay. So we merged the last round of PRs. So one is to surface the upgrade plan in status. With chained upgrade, you can now go up for several release, and there is a field now. And when you are in this progress, there is a field in status that tells you what are the next steps, basically, both for control plane and workers. Similarly, or slightly related, we had a PR that recently merged that in cluster status for control plane and workers tell you which version are currently in the cluster. If you are a stable state, there are, of course, only one version for control plane and one version for workers. If you are in the middle of upgrade, you can have different, and you have the number of replica for each versions. And when we we are going to implement the feature of independent worker upgrades. Yeah, it will be more important, even more important. And last one is that we extended what is possible to patch with cluster class patches. And we allow to patch metadata labels and annotation for a couple of objects. And this could be interesting because yeah, label annotation are used by provider, etc., etc. So this could provide, and this goes in the direction that we were discussing before. We make the system capable to take over tasks that are now on top of the user, like applying label annotation. That's it. I stop for question if there are questions about these three features.
Yeah, sounds cool. And I appreciate you celebrating our successes. I like it too. I think it's good. All right. And does anybody have questions or comments about any of these?
Maybe we should do a read through after the GA release or something of the release highlights. Anyway,
Yeah.
could just to
Yeah, and this is a good segue for the next two topics in agenda if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any hands going up, so I would say move forward if you like.
Okay, so yesterday we released beta 1 and is available on track on the release. For the release, nice. So we already bumped in Cup V, and this provided also a good feedback that the recent changes in code organization should not be impactful on providers. Only it was pretty straightforward to bump latest release of copy in Cup V. So, and that's one. And since we are going through, the release runbook, I also work at preparing the release notes for the next release. They are still in draft, and they are in the comment that I linked there. If you don't mind opening it, I just want to bring it up. Okay, just if you look at it, it is a remarkable payload. Also, this release, and there are several kind of changes. We are improving security posture by doing various type of actions. We are enable safe joining of nodes. We improve observability. We improve robustness and reliability of controller. Several changes. Memory footprint. So it's quite a remarkable release in my opinion. Even if we are not implementing huge proposal, and it gave me also the chance to think about how this release is going, and to maybe two general remarks. So one other thing that I like to see is that across this release we managed to steady continuously reducing the number of issues. When we started the release, there was 200 open issues in the repository, and now that we are on 170, and I think that's a good result. The same is happening for and we ran around 200, 210 for the last 3 or 4 releases. So I think this is a good step. Similar is about the number of open PR. We were before around the 40 PR opened at any given time. Now we are more around the 30. So we are 10 less, which is 25% less, which sounds better. And it is also, I think it is also, there is also another side of the coin that is worth to bring up. The reviewer pool is shrinking. We have Kartik and Takuma basically as a reviewer, as active reviewer now. And the downside of this is that all the review are on basically on the back of Stefan and me, which are the two maintainers, the two active maintainers. And so, yeah, there is a sort of bottleneck that is forming, and yeah, These are basically a call for action. Hey, folks, we know that there are people that are knowledgeable about cluster API, and if you care about this project, you have to step up. Next, the other point that I would like to bring up is that AI is getting a problem not only in cluster API but also in cluster API. It's not that we are against AI. We like it, we use it. The problem is that someone abuse it. There are people that just goes through a repository and use AI to generate comment. I don't know for which reason. Maybe they have token gray, whatever. And yeah, this is not helping. Is background noise, and there are also some PR that are clearly AI generated and probably trying to solve problems that are not real problems. So, yep. Also helping, having more reviewers could help us to deal with this additional round of noise. Mike?
Yeah, I've been attending some of the steering committee meetings and whatnot, and AI has come up several times in those places. And I know that there is good support across the Kubernetes community for projects that, if we start getting swamped with these, just to close the issues, close the PRs where we don't think they've been opened in good faith and following the community guidelines about how to use this technology responsibly. So I just wanted to give a support to the project to say, like, yeah, we should feel free to close these when we see them, if we can, if we can detect that that it's a low quality addition and it's just putting pressure on the reviewers.
Yeah, from one side, it is a tool. It could be useful. From the other side, it remains, and it should be clear that we want to talk with contributors, not with the an AI bot when we are doing reviews, and this is super important. And second, yeah.
Yeah,
It really matters. It really matters the problem that you are trying to solve. If it's okay, I use AI. I scan the issue backlog and I use AI to generate PR. In most cases, they are PR opened without a proper discussion on issues. They are low quality and most
Yeah.
noise.
No, I mean, I think the main point, or the main thing I want to highlight is like especially given the context of this about the reviewer pool shrinking and everything, the human element of the Kubernetes community to me is like the most important thing we have to protect. And so, yeah, like, low quality PRs that are generated, things that are just, miles of text generated by some bot, I think we should feel confident to just say we're not going to accept, some of these things because I would hate to see us burn through more people in this project. That this is, in my mind, this is like this project is very successful and does great work in the open source, and I would hate to see more pressure put on the people behind it. So yeah, I just want to give a vote of confidence to, like, we should close these out when we can detect that they're not good.
Thank you, Mike.
I would
Stefan?
probably go one step further and a slightly different angle. I think it's probably common sense, but I think we should also in general reject PRs where we just think like whatever benefit of that PR is not worth the review bandwidth. And I think maybe sometimes we don't do that enough. I mean, I don't mind like small PRs, easy to review, easy to merge, that's it, right? But I mean, there's a bunch of stuff where it's just like, does this actually matter? Is this worth a maintainer spending like a day reviewing on? And yeah, just to keep in mind. And that's basically independent of AI or not. And that's why I meant like a different angle.
Sorry, I left myself muted there. No, I think what you're saying makes great sense, Stefan. And, I kind of put some anonymized comments on here because I think like we just, it seems like we're in agreement about this. Like we'll just have to, as we go forward, this is something I think we'll just have to be aware of as we're reviewing and everything.
Yeah, the other things that is a little bit that I don't like is that it looks like that we have issue where there are good discussion on going on, and those discussion are being polluted by AI generated comments. And this is, I don't think this is nice also for other consumers. So we should probably become a little bit more direct around these folks that generate comment across 10, 15 issues and ask, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, Project Health seems good. There are some issue and the community, and especially if you work for a company that cares about copy, go to your manager, give a transparent and honest feedback about what is going on. If they need to talk with maintainers or with steering, we can make this happen. But yeah, let me say, it is open source, but things doesn't happen out of thin air.
Yeah, absolutely agree with everything you're saying there. All right, does anybody have questions or comments about this?
Maybe one last one from my side.
Please.
While opening PRs is a nice contribution, it would also be, right? I mean, nothing against having more PRs and people contributing by opening PRs, but I mean, I don't want to say that, but the only thing that achieves is putting more pressure on reviewers. But maybe the more appropriate way to phrase it is like, we definitely also need help on the other side of the PRs, also on like maintenance, fixing CI issues, keeping CI stable, all of that. So while we appreciate PRs, PRs is not like the point where we have our problems.
This is like something that makes me like really curious is like, so we see people using generative tooling to like make comments, to make PRs, to make all this code. And we also see projects that are enabling things like CodeRabbit, to help with reviews. What I'm kind of curious is, yeah, like what, well, why aren't we enabling people to run CodeRabbit locally on their laptop? And then they can just, if you want to do an AI review locally and then put up a few comments, like surely that would be more helpful than like just blasting out like, pages and pages of text or whatever. I don't know. Like I'm just curious why are we not seeing more of that,
I mean, I
Honestly,
would assume that they can just do it locally, right, if they want to.
Right.
Right?
But it's like
I mean,
you go through some PRs on a project, run CodeRabbit locally, maybe you find some stuff and like, you put a review up or whatever.
yeah. So sorry for this, just one sentence in between. So what I'm a bit struggling with is basically slightly different Kubernetes repository. Basically, you get spammed with PRs. Then people want to enable like AI to also do the reviews. So you end up with basically a ton of spam PRs, a ton of reviews.
Right.
And then you have maintainers who have to dig through all of that mess and have to figure out. I mean, because I'm not saying like AI generated code reviews are not useful, but they're also not necessarily 100% correct.
Right.
But
No,
also it produces like a lot of text, a huge amount of text. And the only one who can really figure out is the maintainer, and they have to deal with all of this. So I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
If they're putting like, I mean, you can enable AI, right? I mean, we could enable like Copilot or something on Cluster API if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I think
don't
we
think
could do
enabling
that. I'm just not sure if I want to do that because
Right.
there's
I
just
don't think
more
that's
stuff that I have to dig
I
through.
don't think that's the right choice. Yeah. I think I think at the end of the day, we still want to promote people to engage their brains, right? Like, it's like use the tool to help you out, but you also have to use your brain. So, sorry, Fabrizio, go ahead.
no, I think that that's a crucial point, because the angle that so there is the problem about the noise, AI slop, etc., etc. But I think that what is crucial is that this is a community. This is where people meet. This is the value doesn't comes from the fact that we discuss Red Hat requirements, VMware requirements, and Microsoft requirement, and we find a middle ground in the between. Okay, so I don't really need a machine that write a comment which is 20 line and whatever. I need a person that brings real and concrete experience that can make the project grow. And honestly, I don't care how this person comes to this idea, if use a machine or talk with PMs or customer, whatever. We really need human interaction to make the project good. This is the real value of community. Tools are tools.
Right.
And if we get to a point where only tools open and review PRs, I think the community is dead.
Oh, yeah.
There is no reason anymore for the community to exist. And this will be really bad.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Fabrizio, I totally agree with everything you're saying. And the human involved in the loop is the most important thing here. So, yeah. And like, I agree 100%. Like, these are just tools. If these tools help you do your job better, great. But you have to show up, not the tool, right? Like,
Right. And I think also one problem in that area is that let's say one feeling that we have in control runtime is in the past, usually people opened issues in PRs when they actually had a problem. Now you don't know if someone actually had a problem or if someone basically asked an LLM to look at the code and make up a problem or find a problem. You don't really know if it's made up or not, right?
right.
So you basically start like definitely having a lot of less trust in people that you don't already know.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of the things that goes hand in hand with these discussions of accepting this kind of work is like, people talk about webs of trust and everything, and maybe we're going back into that kind of era or whatever. But we're kind of getting off on a tangent. A good point here, Fabrizio, and like, I'm going to try to kick my own butt to do a couple more reviews, and hopefully we'll get more reviews from the community. All right, does anybody else have questions or comments? I saw Nolan had some great stuff in chat here. I don't know if you wanted to share any of that with us, Nolan, or
I guess not really. I mean, it's mostly violent agreement with what's been said. I think
okay.
the reviewers should not be the first ones should not be the first humans seeing your code and thinking about your code, whether you use an AI or not. So.
Yeah, thank you. All right, cool. Well, that is the end of our regular agenda. Looks like Fabrizio's added a provider update here. So yeah, take it away, Fabrizio.
But probably already mentioned it before. We released the copy 117 beta 1 with latest copy beta. Everything was smooth. So that's
Awesome. Yeah, great to hear. Okay, that is the end of our regular agenda. So I'll give a few seconds here in case somebody wants to propose an ad hoc topic. But otherwise, we'll take back about 25 minutes of our day. So going once, going twice. Okay, thanks for coming out, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week.